What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a Tuesday episode of I Hate Baseball. Josh, I asked for meatloaf yesterday. Not one of the most desired dishes, especially in my household where I grew up with fantastic Italian cuisine. But when it comes to profits, meatloaf ain't bad at all. And I asked for meatloaf. I asked for 2 out of 3. You gave it to me, and it wasn't bad at all. And for those of you maybe too young enough, too old, I don't know what the hell. If you don't know, Meatloaf is a random musician. I couldn't name you maybe one other song, but I do remember 2 out of 3 ain't bad on MTV growing up. And you went 2 out of 3, a couple plus money picks there. I was actually at my friend's house, and they do crazy, like, I'm a home. They bet like per pitch, like they're betting live just to give them thrills on a Monday night. The thrill seekers. So it kind of like me in Vegas with the stories that I was saying. And they actually happened to have the Gandalf Gray game on. So I was watching that, and it was crazy. This guy was racking up strikeouts. Oh, yeah. But, they were just sporadically getting runs. I had like 8 strikeouts with 6 runs, and it was yet another instance where by hook or by crook, a good pitcher with a nice plus 130, I think it was out of there by the beginning of the 6th inning. So it was good.
More outs, always more paths to those unders than there is the overs.
And then we talked about the strikeouts that you gave. What was the guy's name again with the 4.5 strikeouts?
Yeah, Mahle. What the Jays one, the over the ladder, and you touched on the 5.5. Yeah, and I'm happy I asked that because I don't really know what the best things are to ladder. We discovered the hits allowed ladder just for the first time, but then you talked about how the main ladder opportunity was with strikeouts. So I guess I kind of got lucky on that front. Once again, not lucky on my random donkey pick, but that's why they're donkey picks. I honestly hope that you guys aren't really taking them, but it was solid Monday. You sound a little healthier today, which worries me a little bit. I said I wanted to keep you a level of sick where, you're not really that bad, but you're still dishing us some quality picks. So I saw that you have another 3 on the slate tonight. So some more meatloaf, hopefully, is in order. Why don't I ask for 3 out of 3? Because I'm not greedy like the rest of you. Did you watch my hedging video where I said greed versus guarantee? You give me 2 out of 3, I'll be more than happy. So, Josh, how you feeling today? Much better, thank you. I apologize for not being sicker, but 2 or 3 ain't bad. Paradise by the Dashboard Lights has to be the best Meatloaf song by far. But 2 or 3, we'll take it. Plus 130, plus 130. They were pretty easy, kind of sweat-free. And, like, if you're watching the Gray one, like, he was cruising. But, like, the wheels can fall off so quick. And that was a guy coming off a big pitch. And then the other K under with Mahle, he still only went, 14 outs. So he didn't go long. He got a couple Ks. I think he finished with 5.5. So the hook was there. And we lost it. But we move on today with a couple of scams, too. Again, starting with pitchers. That's where it starts. It's kind of regular to see where it all is. And Javier Assad, I don't know what they're doing with him, but in his last start, he was pitching well. He hit 4 innings. They said, you know what, Javi, that's enough. You've been injured. Your pitch counts are getting higher. Maybe that's all you're going to pitch. So today, hopefully, is another one of those spots where he doesn't get deep. His outs went from 15.5 to 14.5. It's tough to buy at the 15 because it's so expensive, but 3.5 at plus money. We're seeing this move to like minus 110. So we're on the right side of the market. Faces the best strikeout team in Cleveland over the last 2 seasons, lowest K percentage. And this is a guy, 11 strikeouts over his last 24 innings. Like, he might just not have it right now, and you could see something following this game where they kind of move him to the bullpen, or he might not kind of get a next start. They might push him back, or all his markets kind of fall. So there's a lot to like about old Assad under here on the 3.5.
You know what my sniff is for this one? This one is coming down to 1. Either or. We're gonna be living on the edge. I do know that song, and I can name you a bunch of Aerosmith songs. But we're gonna be living on this. This bet is ending with either 3 strikeouts or 4 strikeouts. So if you were looking to, get some alcohol out of your system and sweat a little bit on a Tuesday, something tells me this is going to be the right bet for you. So Javier Assad under 3.5 strikeouts. You can add him to the list of people I'm 100% not going to remember, and I'm happy to forget in a couple weeks when football starts, because I can feel it. I can feel it. Now we're going into Phil Collins. I don't know how or why, but we got destroyed with heat early this year. I kind of had some comfortable days outside these last couple, and then you just start to get those vibes when the night is a little bit cool, and maybe shorts and a t-shirt, you're shivering a little bit. That's what I had last night, and it smelt like the beginning of fall. And yeah, that's right, I bought the fall scents from Glade, and I got it plugged in over there. I'm trying to mentally get my brain there. So let's go to, I'm assuming it's another pitcher. We usually have 2 pitchers on the docket. Oh yeah, this asshole who I got a good price on his strikeouts. He got to, I think it was like 3.5. He got to 3 immediately. And then he just never got the 4th one in like the next 2 or 3 innings. So I'm happy we're betting against him. He owes me.
Oh yeah, you had a great number on that. And I remember checking in at 3, and it just didn't get across the line at 4. Getting 0 strikeouts in 2 innings is an absolute brutal beat. But he's been absolute dog shit since he's been back. I'd play this down to -130. You got a good number there. We had Rivers on the under at -106. He has given up 26 hits over his last 5 starts. 13 of those have left the yard. He is giving up home runs at an alarming rate. He's at home at Fenway, which is a hitter's park, and he's facing a Texas team who we saw just 2 starts ago, who hit 4 home runs off him. Corey Seager, one of the guys who has absolutely got his number since the All-Star break. 13 home runs over 18 innings pitched. If he can't figure this out, you could see the same situation where we had with Assad, where they might have to start making some decisions, because the stretch of this stink is pretty long. So the under 17.5 outs is good. The over 2.5 earned runs at -105 is good. There's a lot of things to like about Crawford getting beat up here.
You're all garbage! All of you!
Fantastic, Alex. It's been a little while. I was gonna, was it Corey Seager? Because that name, well, maybe just because it's a name that I think is he like a perennial all-star? Because even that name kind of was somewhat familiar. And I thought I saw him on one of the potential plus money lists, but I didn't have anything really that stood out, because it is pretty hilarious, though, repeatedly highlighting things that have hit 10 or more in a row that continually lose. But it's a great lesson for these people, really, to understand what they need to do when somebody comes at them with that type of information. There's literally no better. I think maybe one of those bets, every bet that I gave on here, the Andy Donkey pick of the day, go back and watch. 10 in a row, 19 in a row. Loss. And I'm not surprised at all, because me personally, with the sports that I do know, that means a grand total of nothing to me. Like, if you're playing the best, if you're Devontae Adams and you got over 70 yards in 8 straight games, and then you're facing the top cornerback in the NFL, yeah, I'm not just going to assume you're going to go over 70 yards again. Anyway, that should be rudimentary.
I'm sitting at the blackjack table, and all I see is Andy's arm play behind me. Just a swat.
Yeah. I told you, anybody who hops on long streaks deserve to lose. You have to start the streak, and then you're entitled to stay on that train the entire time.
So to Corey Seager's he's -150 for 2 total bases in the game, which shows you how well Texas should be hitting in this game, and it has the highest total on the board too. So the 17.5 is a big number for a game that's going to see a lot of runs.
All right, we'll take it. Kutter Crawford under 17.5, and then I feel like usually your third play is some sort of hitter at like a plus. I can't remember. I put it in, and oh no, I actually know that this guy is a pitcher on Toronto. We've put in enough bets where I know that he's a good pitcher, right? He's a quality pitcher.
Yeah, very good pitcher.
Okay, so now we're gonna add that to my wealth of baseball knowledge. My players known is up from 3 to 4. So Kevin got Gausman or Gausman.
Gausman, but like Bowden Francis cruised last night, right? Like, that was a pitcher who was just getting a start. I think it was the 2nd start in a row. He was working from the bullpen. Now you get arguably the best Jays pitcher versus a bad LA lineup that only And I believe they only had 2 hits last night, both home runs. So Gausman comes in. And these ones are always priced oddly. Like some of the games you try to fade bad teams and you're like, the money line's minus 200 and the pitcher to record the win is minus 175. It's really close. But the most important thing is here is Gausman's going to have a long leash. His outs is at 18.5. He's going to go deep. The longer you go, the more probability you have at staying in to be able to record the win. Plus 125, I think we released it at plus 130, is a great solid price considering Toronto's minus 150 on the money line. And you'll see this just because it's like a low liquid market. You'll see the money line stay the same, but then this prop kind of slowly come back down towards the money line. And you're seeing it there with the 5-point move.
Yeah, well, explain to me quickly. This could probably help people. The differentiation between pitcher win and money line. Out of 10 games, if Toronto wins 10 Gausman starts, how many of those is he not going to get a win for? And is it pretty much always close to worth it with the discrepancy in price versus how many times he won't get a win? Like if Toronto wins this game, what percentage, if you had to guess, I'm not looking for the real answer, like, you know, but like, what do you think? Like just if you had to submit a Price is Right guess.
No, exactly. Okay, so I mean, the Jays to win minus 1.5 is plus 115. So you're getting a better price on that. I'd rather go this one than that one, especially with how bad their offense is. But let's say 30 starts for him. You would hope somewhere between like 12 to 15, so somewhere around half that he's getting that win. But you just want to pick. It's just another edge to like, yeah, here's a matchup that they should win, right? Like, okay, I'm not getting a very good price on let's say Leon Draisaitl over 2.5 shots because the matchup's so good versus Anaheim, right? So let's sniff our way down the ladder to some other markets. And with people betting less into markets, when I say like this market's less liquid than the other ones, I'm just saying there's not a lot of money being bet into it. It's not strikeouts, it's not out. And when there's less money in those markets, they're more inefficient. So the lines get efficient because we put money into them, basically. The books are smart. They just take our money.
Is it like the 60-minute line, like a less bet thing that sometimes you can find good prices on, opposed to like the money line, or is that not a very good example?
Oh yeah, but like there's certain things like that, right? Like if you're going to bet against Edmonton, take the 60-minute line just because there's an 80% chance Edmonton's going to win in overtime, right? Like there's certain ways to look at it. I think usually when I'm doing like my 60-minute lines, it's usually just like I don't want to pay minus 145, but I'll take even money instead and just kind of roll the dice instead. But the big thing with Gausman is he's going to go more than 7 innings. So hopefully that's where the EV is.
Well, while we're talking about hockey, since I don't have a donkey pick of the day because there was nothing so outrageous to bring to your attention where it was like, 18 out of 19. I'm going to bring up something that I texted you about yesterday because this kind of falls in line. I've talked to you before. We have our bet, obviously, against the Tampa Bay Lightning hitting 100 points. And that's what I think Steven Stamkos' removal from that power play will do. I think it will be that drastic. But on the flip side of that, you have an older power play dependent Steven Stamkos who now is on a team that he has zero chemistry with any of those players and will kind of have to find it. And you have, before the previous 2 years, an extremely injury prone, before the previous 2.5 years, older player who has a line set on his goal total on Bet365 at 38.5, opposed to every other site, which had it set at 34.5. Do you approve? Do you approve on that on differentiation alone?
Oh yeah, that number just as like not even knowing what the context is. If you know that you're getting that big of a buffer, period, you're done, right? Like you could there's a middle opportunity if you like, but just kind of take the money and run on the lower number. The higher number on the under. The thing that hits me about it is Forsberg is the alpha on that team, right? Yossi is a shot first defenseman too. There's only so much to go around in terms of volume. They were one of the teams, like that didn't change up that top line all year. Power play 1 and line 1, all three of them with Riley, Forsberg, and who was the other one?
Was it Evangelista? No, it was the guy who's been bouncing around. Oh my God, Nyquist.
Yeah, sorry, Gustav Nyquist, and that was it. So they played all. So like, are they going to go in and mix that up and blow up that chemistry? Or are they going to try to put him maybe with, I don't know, somebody else? They don't have a lot of scoring.
Yeah, and him, Marchessault, and Forsberg are all righties. Like, and they all play they've played the same position on the power play, like on the circle there. So it's like, what the hell are they going to do? There's going to be a long figuring out process as to what the optimal way to play for them is, like, you know, offensively. So I think you get that early season. I've always maintained that the teams who have the same core and have quality special teams, the Leafs, the Avs, the Rangers, previously the Lightning, they get a head start on the rest of the league because their power play has been working together so many years, that same 5-man unit, that they're in mid-season form by game 2, and they're raking up wins while you have teams like the Predators just trying to figure out what the hell are we doing. I've always thought that those teams have a distinct advantage. Oh, how the hell did I forget Edmonton when talking about a power play like that? That's something that caught my eye. That's going to be my non-donkey play of the day for you guys. I guess that's what we have for you here on a Tuesday. No donkey play for me. I want to try to get these tea and crumpet funds up. Josh is just slowly pushing them up the charts, which is very much appreciated. We'll be back with you tomorrow for a Wednesday episode of I Hate Baseball. And then obviously, if you guys want, we got the chat threads for you. Josh posts his Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday picks on my Patreon. I add what I can while I can. But obviously, we have football and hockey coming up in the relatively near future. So hopefully I see you guys over there. If not, I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode. Make sure, obviously, you do, you know, the things that I hate to ask for on here. You know, click the button down below, click the button off to the side, type some letters and hit send. All right? Thank you very much. I will see you guys tomorrow.